Ladies and gentlemen, let me ask you something. How many of you have spent time wondering what people think about you? How many of you have wasted hours trying to prove yourself to people who don't even pay your electricity bill? Be honest. We all have. We live in a world where everyone is watching everyone. Instagram is not social media anymore. It's a competition of who looks more successful while crying in better lighting. But let me tell you something powerful. The moment you stop focusing on people and start focusing on yourself, the world gets confused. They don't know what happened. They start saying, "What? She's not posting about her pain. He's not explaining himself anymore. What's going on?" And that's when you've already started winning. Because success loves silence. Growth happens when nobody's watching. You don't plant a seed and scream at it, "Grow faster. People are waiting." No, you water it quietly. You protect it, and one day it becomes a tree, and those same people who ignored you will ask for shade under it. Let me tell you a story. There was a young man who wanted to become a professional boxer. Everyone laughed, said he was too thin, too weak. He trained silently for years, punching air, lifting cheap weights, eating eggs like a man possessed. Today, that weak guy is Anthony Joshua, world heavyweight champion. He said once, "Don't announce moves, make moves." That's the mindset. Because here's the truth. The world doesn't respect your talk, it respects your transformation. Stop chasing validation. Start chasing improvement. Stop trying to shock people with your lifestyle. Shock them with your growth. Imagine this, you disappear for a year, work on your body, your skills, your business, your peace. And when you come back, people don't even recognize your energy. They'll ask, "What happened to you?" You'll just smile and say, "I focused on myself." You see, when you focus on yourself, you stop being part of the crowd and start being part of your own story. People who laugh at you today will quote you tomorrow. The ones who said you couldn't will say they always believed in you. Let me give you a modern example. Do you know who Khaby Lame is? The guy who became the most followed man on TikTok without saying a single word. He didn't complain about losing his factory job. He didn't make excuses. He just focused on what he could do and made people laugh by being himself. That's focus. That's power. Because here's the thing. When you work on yourself, you become a mirror. People look at you and see what they could have been if they hadn't wasted time talking. So stop explaining yourself to people who aren't even trying to understand. Focus on yourself so deeply that your results become the loudest argument. And remember, people might ignore you today. They might doubt you, gossip about you, underestimate you. Let them. Because one day when you rise, those same people will say, "I always knew there was something special about you." That's part one of the journey, the beginning of silence, focus, and transformation. Now that we understand the power of focusing on yourself, let's talk about the real challenge, actually doing it. Because let's be honest, focusing on yourself is hard. Life is loud. People are loud. TikTok is loud. Your cousin is loud. Your neighbor is loud. Everyone wants a piece of your attention. Here's the truth. Distractions are designed to make you average. And average is safe. Average is comfortable. Average doesn't make people jealous. It doesn't make headlines. It doesn't shock anyone. But you don't want average, do you? The first step is stop comparing yourself. Stop scrolling through feeds and saying, "Why isn't my life like that?" Let me tell you something about social media. You are not failing. You are just comparing your behind the scenes to someone else's highlight reel. Take Elon Musk, for example. People see the rockets, the cars, the tweets, the headlines, and think, "Wow, he's living the dream." But they don't see the 20-hour days, the failed launches, the bankruptcy threats. The man focused on building instead of being seen building. The second step is set boundaries. Yes, boundaries. That means learning to say no. No to toxic conversations. No to meaningless arguments. No to hours of binge watching random shows that make your brain melt. Think about Serena Williams. She didn't become a legend by showing up to practice late or checking Instagram during drills. She said no to distractions so she could say yes to her greatness. The third step is tiny daily improvements. Don't try to change everything at once. Focus on small things. Read 15 minutes a day. Wake up 30 minutes earlier. Write down one goal every morning. Compound interest isn't just for money. It's for your skills, your health, your confidence. One tiny improvement every day multiplies into massive results over time. And here's something funny. People will notice your silence, your boundaries, your growth. And some will panic. They'll send messages like, "Are you okay?" Or "Why are you so quiet?" Smile. Because your results are already on the way. And their panic is proof that something is changing. Finally, focus on skills, not status. Stop trying to look successful. Start being skilled. The world doesn't remember people who only look smart. It remembers people who solved problems, who built, who created, who made life better. Take someone like Tim Cook. Nobody screams about his morning routine, but he focuses on product, on people, on innovation. That's why Apple shocks the world every year. Quiet work, massive results. So here's the takeaway for today. Runner, ignore the noise. Say no to distractions. Improve daily, even in tiny ways. Focus on your skills, not your image. Do that consistently. And one day, people won't recognize you, not because you changed who you are, but because you became more than they expected. Now, you have the foundation. You've started to plant the seeds. Now, this is the fun part. The moment when all that quiet work, all that focus, all those nobody sees me hours suddenly explode into results people cannot ignore. Imagine this. You've been working quietly for months, maybe years. No one believed in you. People laughed, they doubted, they made jokes, and then boom, you show up and everything changes. Think about Oprah Winfrey. She wasn't born a queen of media. She started in a tiny studio struggling, criticized until she wasn't fit for TV, yet she kept focusing on herself, her voice, her confidence, her storytelling. One day, she walked into our lives and suddenly the world was paying attention. That's the shock. Here's the secret. People don't get shocked by your plans. They get shocked by your results. Not by what you said you'd do, by what you actually did. You see, it's funny. The people who doubted you are the same people who will post about you later. "Wow, I can't believe she did that. He's really built that." And you just smile quietly because you knew all along. Let me give you a modern example. Take the Fenty Beauty empire. Rihanna didn't just launch another makeup line. She launched a line for everyone, not just for the people makeup brands always paid attention to. She focused on the gap, worked quietly on the product, and the world was shocked when people lined up around the block. That's the magic of focus plus originality. Here's something you'll love. The more you focus on yourself, the more your energy becomes contagious. People start saying, "How did she get so calm? Why is he so confident?" And you know the answer. You've been practicing, learning, growing when nobody was looking. And yes, there's a little funny part about it too. People will try to gaslight you. They'll say, "Oh, you're lucky." Lucky. No, you call it focus, dedication, consistency. Luck is when preparation meets opportunity. And focusing on yourself is the ultimate preparation. Another example, Keanu Reeves. The man is everywhere in the headlines for being kind, humble, and insanely talented. He didn't go around announcing how he was living or what he was doing. He just worked on his craft, kept his life simple, and the world is shocked every time he appears. The key lesson here is don't try to shock people on purpose. Focus on yourself so much that the shock is inevitable. Your growth, your success, your transformation will make people stop scrolling. Stop gossiping and stare. And here's a little trick. When people doubt you, don't argue, don't explain, don't justify. Just keep going. The silent ones, the quiet workers, always shock the world the hardest. So remember, your results are your argument. Your growth is your revenge, the good kind. Your focus is your superpower, all right? Now we've reached the part most people never want to talk about, consistency. Because shock is great, growth is amazing, but none of it lasts if you can't keep going. Let's be honest, life is messy. People will try to pull you back into drama. Social media will scream, "Look at me," every second. Friends, family, colleagues, they'll say things like, "Take it easy," or "Why are you working so hard?" And if you're not careful, you'll get pulled away from your path. Here's the secret. Focus is like a muscle. The more you exercise it, the stronger it gets. The problem is most people give up after one workout. They see someone else running faster, getting attention, and think, why bother? That's the trap. Take LeBron James as an example. Every single summer, even after being at the top of his game, he trains harder than most rookies. Why? Because staying on top is harder than getting there. Consistency is what separates legends from everyone else. And here's a funny reality. The more you focus on yourself, the more people try to distract you. They might post pictures of their new car, their vacation, their life. Don't look, don't care. Your energy is for your goals, not their validation. So how do you stay consistent? Daily rituals. Build habits so strong they become automatic. Read, write, practice your skill, meditate, exercise, whatever it is. Make it non-negotiable. Ignore noise. Delete the apps. Mute the people. Turn off notifications. Whatever it takes. You can't grow if your attention is a ping sound away from disappearing. Celebrate tiny wins. Yes, celebrate them, because focusing on yourself is a marathon, not a sprint. Each small win keeps your motivation alive. Remind yourself why. Why are you doing this? Is it for respect, money, happiness? Keep that reason alive every day. If you lose sight of your why, you'll fall into the trap of distraction. Here's a truth that will make you laugh if you think about it. People often get tired of waiting for results. They're impatient. But patience is part of the shock. People who give up too early never get to surprise the world. Finally, remember this. Consistency is lonely sometimes. People will think you're weird, obsessive, or too intense. Let them. You're not working for them. You're working for yourself, your potential, your life, the reward. When you finally reach your peak, all that effort, all that patience, all that silence, it pays off in shock value. People will look at you and say, where did that come from? And you'll smile because you know exactly where it came from. You. Now, we've reached the final part, the mindset that turns focus into unstoppable power, because growth, consistency, and results are nothing if your mind isn't built for it. Here's the truth. Most people fail not because they don't try, but because their mindset isn't strong enough. The world is going to throw everything at you. Doubt, criticism, setbacks, failure. And if your mind wobbles, you wobble. So how do you build an unstoppable mindset? First, embrace failure. Not just tolerate it, love it. Every rejection, every mistake, every no is a stepping stone. Jeff Bezos didn't build Amazon by being perfect. He failed over and over. Yet he kept going, focused on the bigger picture. Second, ignore the noise of comparison. People will always have more followers, more money, bigger houses. That's their life. Your life is your project. Concentrate on building yourself, not your image. Third, make your energy contagious in a good way. Focus on yourself, yes, but also radiate positivity, dedication, and purpose. People notice it. It's subtle but powerful. Think of Malala Yousafzai. She didn't shout at the world to pay attention. She just kept learning, advocating, and showing courage, and the world couldn't ignore her. Fourth, stay humble and hungry. Success is dangerous if you think you've arrived. The minute you stop learning, someone else will surpass you. Elon Musk didn't stop after PayPal, Tesla, or SpaceX. He keeps dreaming bigger, humble about what you've done, hungry for what's next. And here's something relatable. Sometimes you'll feel invisible. No one notices your effort. That's actually perfect. Invisible work is free of distraction, and distraction is the enemy of focus. So smile, keep working, and trust that one day the results will scream louder than any words ever could. Finally, remember, focus on yourself isn't selfish. It's strategic. It's not about ignoring others. It's about maximizing your potential so that when the time comes, your success doesn't just surprise people, it inspires them. Look around you. Some of the most respected people today, from Serena Williams to Keanu Reeves, from Rihanna to Tim Cook, didn't chase approval. They chased growth. They focused on themselves, and the world ended up applauding. So here's your call to action. Stop trying to impress people. Stop explaining yourself. Stop measuring your life by someone else's standards. Focus on yourself. And one day when you walk into a room, launch your project, finish your book, or just simply live your life, everyone will stop and say, wow, Where did that come from? And you'll know the truth. It came from you, from your patience, your focus, your resilience, from quietly, relentlessly building the best version of yourself. That is the power of focusing on yourself. And that, my friends, is how you shock everyone. Thank you for listening. And don't forget to like and subscribe, my friends.